mentioned, but at the same time, you're okay with having sex with those 7 or 8 women and moving on as if you just went to lunch, you know? So that's maybe I'm old. Okay, you call me old, and that's my question, and that's what I have a problem with, because when it comes to sex, and allowing somebody to have sex with you, to hold you, to do all the things that you do in those intimate moments, you know, to me, that should be between people who are committed to each other, people who love each other, people who want to be with each other. But I don't think that millennials really get it. I don't think they understand, that sex is more than just, let me lay down with you and, okay, you didn't work out, so let me go to the next person.
Oh man, see, now it's getting quite hot in here. But I'm glad that yes, you all are definitely old school. Your approach,
oh my God.
Hey, it could be considered outdated, because you guys didn't have any social media when you guys were coming up. You didn't have so much access and so much opportunity, in my opinion. You know, y'all might sneak behind a church, y'all might go to the barn or something like that. You know, in them olden days, to the barn. You know, in the olden days it was different. You know, nowadays I think that we have, as young people, you know, y'all might go to the carriage or whatever the case may be. You know, whatever y'all did, you go to the dance. It was just different. You know, you might have to go to meet a person's parents and all that kind of stuff. I think that the society is not the same as it was in 1950, 1972, early on when you guys were out there dating. It's a complete different world. And I think that older people are out of touch. You guys you guys are kind of still coming up to the times. And so, a lot of those old school things may not be relevant or present in this said time frame. And so you spoke about sex. I think that, sex is a beautiful thing. It's a great thing. But I think it's about how you're socialized and how you're taught. Young people, if we can be honest, are not set down, not taught to have a sexual conversation with their parents. So the way that we learn and expose to sex is different. We're exposed to our friends, through television, through movies. And so if I just go with the exposure of sex and how we get the information in the movies, it seems like you like a person, you go have sex, and that's what it is. The reality TV, the world has taught us a different version of sex than you guys got. Now, I would be willing to challenge you to see if your parents had the sex conversation with you. And I think that, just the way that we're exposed to information, we don't have to, like, in a sense, go up to a girl and get her number anymore, like how we'd had back in the day. We don't have to write anything down. We can Instagram, we can Facebook, we can Snapchat. It takes a lot of pressure off of the dating scene and situation, and you don't really have to face as much rejection as you did back then. But, to try to stay on topic, we may have a different concept. What?
Hey, William, Fred had a question for you. Say that.
Go ahead. Come on, Fred.
Say it takes a lot of pressure off. No, it seems like it just makes it easier. It makes it easier. I think when it comes to sex, it was just as much going on, and I'm kind of leaning to one comment that he said is when it comes to the sex, the only thing to me now that's different now than it was back then, we kept stuff more secretive.
Yes.
They did. Yes. It's still, everything is still going on just as much now as it was when we were growing up, but we were more secretive. So now that the generation now is more flamboyant with theirs, it makes it look like they're doing something more wrong. And that's why I said I'm kind of taking up for him on that, just on that aspect, because we are still more secretive. Like, we will sit there and may have 3 people that we messing with, and they'll have 3 people, but they won't tell you that they doing it.
Right. And Miss Charlene, can I agree with him? That I agree with you, Mr. Fred, that we were taught. We're not taught to hide And a lot of, like you said, you guys are taught, oh, keep it on the low, sweep it under the carpet. You can have a family up the street. You know, older people, they've been married 50 years but got 6 families around the city and around the country. And, you know, but nobody talks about it. Younger people are taught to not be afraid, not hide. We are going to talk about it. We might even put it on our Twitter. We might put it on our Facebook. We're taught to run towards the subject and not run away from it. And so, you know, I think that's one of the hugest differences is that we don't have what individuals would consider to be shame. We're not going to be easily shamed for what we do. We're comfortable with who we are and what we participate in. And older people, they're not comfortable with it. They're not comfortable with themselves. They may not be comfortable with their bodies or whatever. Younger people, we don't have those same inhibitions as older people. You know, we're more liberal. We're more free-spirited when it comes to sex. We're more out there just because that's how we've been taught. And I think that, you know, we do a disservice sometimes, you know, even, and I'm just going to bring this little point in, even when it comes to the LGBTQ community, back in the day, it was taboo. It wasn't discussed. Nowadays, individuals are having same-sex partners. They loving who they want to love, and it's a little bit more tolerated. So, you know, just to get back to that point, when it comes to sex, if I could be honest, Miss Charlene, you know, that's my God, my sex is on the table. We as young people, we are not entering into any situation, any agreement, anything if sex can't be openly discussed and possibly done. It's a part of our top 10, our top 5, maybe our top 3. It's important to us sex sometimes is important to young people just like breathing. Is that important? Is that wanted? Is that desired? Is that needed? And so, you know, I think that, you know, that has to be in a conversation. Before young men and young women are dating each other, that's on the table, that's in the conversation. And back in the day, it might not have been in the conversation until we married, and we had to get married sooner back in the day. Now, young people are saying, you know what? I want to take my time. I don't know if you're right for me. I need to test this thing out. I need to drive the car. If it ain't right, I'm a trade up and get, you know, a newer model, a better model. So, you know, not relegating anybody to cars, but we want to kind of test and see if we got that chemistry. I don't want to wait 10 years down the line or 5 years down the line with dating, and then we only have sex, and it's not good, it's not great, it's not fun, we're not compatible. I need to kind of see if I'm compatible with you throughout the process into marriage.
Okay. Before I ask you my question, William, is there anybody on the line who had any questions or comments or any input? Anybody on the line?
I feel that the guys or the young man is kind of tag teaming us old folks. But when I say old folks, I say us who are not millenniums. One of the things that he mentioned was social media, right? And he said social media today wasn't back in our day. But what I want to say is social media taking the place of the education that we received? Back in the day, our education came from the parents, it came from the pastors, it came from the teachers and the preachers and the midwives and the deacons and the deaconesses. It came from all of that. And so they were cautious in how they advised and how they taught us. Whereas social media, there's no boundaries. So now whatever goes out in social media, it is what it is. And so now when the millennials hear that, they have no boundaries now. And so with the fact that they don't have these boundaries, it's almost as if everything goes and the way that I feel is right. Now, I feel that in the conversation a little bit, that it kind of got sidetracked because it started out with a Christian conversation, and we were talking about what Christians should do, and then it digressed into the world. So now I think the conversation should be what should we do as far as commitment for a Christian as opposed to commitment for someone in the world?
Okay.
Just every time I've tried my best that everything that I say, social media gonna be social media. What we're doing now is social, but it's what we tend to listen to and what we tend to take in. And then we have to have a standard. If we don't have a boundary or a standard, there's never going to be women are never going to have that commitment that they want. Men not going to never have that commitment that they want, because we're looking at an individual to give us something that only God can fulfill himself. And until we allow God to fulfill that need and be made whole first through him, none of that other stuff is never going to happen. We're going to keep going around in a circle, no matter what nobody say, no matter what nobody do. If we don't put God first in everything that we're not going to have that commitment. We're going to set and keep calling on God for certain things. Charlene, you heard me say before that, and it wasn't something against, the women, but you know how like a woman would say, I'm waiting on my Boaz. And I say, are you a Ruth though? Because Ruth has certain qualities. So if you are a Ruth, look for the qualities of a Boaz in your man then. You stop listening to social media or anybody in your ear telling you that you're a certain age. Or I heard you say earlier, Charlene, say that women are tired. But if you're tired, why you keep walking down the same road?
Right.
So you're not that tired. It's something on that road that you still like. And until you shake that off, that's what you still like on that road, you're going to keep running and going down the same exit.
That's right. And I wanted to say this as we begin to bring this to a close, because I love the conversation. I love the diversity of the conversation, and I like all of the points, and I love that we have what William calls us the old people here, and we have him as the millennial. You know, I never thought that 56 was old when my parents were 56, but I guess I'm old. Okay, because he called me old, so okay, I accept that. But you know, so okay, I'm old. I got to get that. But here's what I want to say in bringing up.
Right quick, you said, because I'm 50, so you know what that made me think? Social media make you think you old, because what do AARP say? So when you hit 50, they send you a card.
Get the card, yes.
Hey, Miss Charlene, I know you wrapping up. I just want to jump back in when you get a chance from a millennial perspective, if we want to go the Christian route when you get a chance.
Okay. I just wanted to say, well, you know what, William, if you could say it real quickly, and then I just want to like tie everything in. So go right ahead.
Okay. Cool. So I did get off track. So in the Bible it says, when a man findeth a wife, he finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. And as young men, we want to find a good wife. We want to find a suitable wife. We want to find that good thing. We want to cleave to whoever is right for us, and we want to obtain that favor. But we also want to make sure it's right. And so we're trying to discern as young people who may not have that village, may not have that community around us, may not have accurate examples of marriage, of loving, healthy relationships. We're trying to find that partner that's suitable for us, and we're trying to do it the right way. We're not trying to be out of the will of God. We just need some guidance, and we need some prayer. And when we're looking around, we're not always seeing in the church or outside the church those accurate examples. And so we want to do it the right way. We need the older people's wisdom and guidance, but sometimes they're not in a healthy, loving dynamic themselves. And so they're trying to give us something. They're trying to force something on us that they ain't doing necessarily.
Well, so I totally, William, I agree with you 1,000%. I will say that. And I want to piggyback on something that you just said about the older people. A lot of times, you know, people in my generation, my parents' generation, as Fred said earlier, we don't talk about what we used to do as young people. We don't say that maybe we may have had 3, 4, 5 partners. We don't talk about that. Everything is hush-hush, as if that sex conversation is taboo. And it's not right, but sometimes it's because of the generation. It's because of that era. My parents, you know, are 83 and 80. And so, no, they're not going to sit around and have discussions about, oh, I did this when I was younger, oh, I did that. They're not going to do that. I love the fact that millennials are open. I love that millennials say what they have to say. You know, it's like no holds barred, because that's me. Like, you know, no holds barred. Let's have the conversation. So I think it's wonderful. And what I would say to people my age and people that are older, let's stop pretending that we're perfect and that we have it all together. And let's sit down and have a conversation with these young people, because we are the ones who will be able to give them some biblical guidance. We'll be able to also help them in their journey, their course in life. We'll be able to give them some guidance. So I want to say that to the older people. I also want to say to you, William, and to the millennials that are out there, is that there's something that's called soul ties, S-O-U-L, soul ties. And what that means is that every time you have sex with someone, you know, you engage in sexual activity with someone, that person is tied to your soul. And we have to be careful about who we allow in our space and who we allow to enter our body, and who, I'm going to say for men, because I don't know if children are around, where you enter in. And you all understand what I'm saying. You have to be very careful about who you connect yourself to. These are called soul ties. And the Bible tells us specifically not to have sex before marriage, because sex is supposed to be a beautiful thing that you enjoy with your partner, your marital partner. Now, once you do it before you get married, you open that door to those feelings, those sexual feelings, all of those impulses. You open yourself up to that. And so it becomes, the more you engage in it, the easier it becomes for you to do it the next time, and the next time, and the next time, because now you've opened yourself up to it. And I remember going to marriage counseling years and years ago, and one thing the marriage counselor said to me and my fiance at the time, one thing that he said to us was that when you continuously have sex with multiple people over the years, sometimes when you get with your marriage partner, they don't satisfy you. They just don't satisfy you, because you've been with so many different people and you've done so many different things, that when you get with this partner and you all have sex for the next 10, 15, 20 years, you just lose interest. And sometimes that happens. So I want you to remember, as a millennial, to be really careful when it comes to guarding your body. The Bible talks about guarding the avenues of your soul. Be very careful about what you do and who you allow. Set some boundaries, set some guidelines for yourself. And I want to thank you, William, for coming on. I know you had some delays, but thank you for coming on. I want to thank Fred for coming on, my friend and my brother. You came in at the clutch. Thank you so much. I want to thank the ladies that are on the line. Ladies, you were quiet tonight. Maybe you just wanted to see how this is going to go, but thank you for being on tonight. I want to thank our producer, Lady Rain, for being here with us and making sure everything ran smoothly. And Fred, did you want to say something in closing before we go?
I just wanted to say, in about 20 seconds, I wanted to just say to every woman that's on the line, know your worth. Open up your word. If you haven't opened up the Bible, because I'm not going to assume that everybody on the line is a Christian, but open up the Word of God and look up scriptures and see what God says that you're worth. And you take those scriptures and you hold them in your heart and meditate on those things day and night. And believe me, your need for commitment, God will fulfill that until He sends that right person. You set a boundary. set a boundary. Know your worth, and when you know your worth, you're going to set a boundary. And I know that some people may be on the line and say, well, I'm not going to let this person go because they may be paying more than half of your bills. So you even feel like you're stuck. But I guarantee you that if you trust in God, put your faith where it belongs, not in man, but in him, and everything going to work out for you.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much for that word. And I want to let you all know that this show is called Sister Circle PRAYz. My name is Lady J, and we will be on Thursday nights. We're on tonight. This is just a sneak peek of what we're going to be doing and to get me kind of used to everything that's supposed to take place. But we're going to actually be on every Thursday night from 8:30 to 10 p.m. So I want to thank you so much for joining in. Please join us next Thursday on Sister Circle PRAYz, and this is www.glory.fm. Thank you so much and have a great night.
Please join Glory FM, the place that plays music for the spirit, where you will hear gospel, inspirational rap, praise, worship, and the word 24/7.